Hola, hey everybody, buenos dias. I have for us a video today that's going to talk about a type of tense in the Spanish language called the conditional tense. The conditional tense is very, very similar to the future tense in that the verb is left completely whole with the exception of irregulars. So before I go into talking about the conditional tense, let's do a very brief recap of the future tense just so we can have that background knowledge moving forward with conditional and be able to distinguish between the two. Okay? So let's recap very briefly first the future tense. Okay? Future tense in Spanish is just like saying will. Will blank. Okay? Will jump, will run, will dance, so on, so forth. Okay? So we have to remember with the future tense, we leave the verb whole. Right? We don't drop the ending. We want to leave that verb completely whole, right? And then our endings were the same, right? There was only one set of endings for all AR, ER, and IR verbs. A, as, a, amos, ace, and on. Okay? So if I wanted to say I will eat, I take the verb, well, we know I is yo, and our verb to eat is comer. We leave comer totally whole, and then we would add our yo form ending, comere. I will eat. Yo comere. Okay? We know that they had a series of irregulars as well. So the irregulars, the verb decir, and the stem became dir. Decir means to say or tell. And then we had hacer, which is to do or make, and that stem was ar. And then we had poder, and that verb to be able to, right, became podre. And then we had saber, which means to know, right? And that became sabre. And we had caber, meaning to fit. And that became cabre. And we had the verb haber, which we're going to see coming up next week. That was abre. Querer. And that stem was Querr. And then we had salir, which means to leave. And that was saldre. And tener was tendre. Poner. Pondre. Then we had venir. Oops, I did that backwards. That should just be that. That was the stem, vendre. And then we had valer. And that was vald, right? So these are the irregulars for the future tense. Okay, I'm showing them to you right now for a reason. You might be like, why are you showing me these future tense irregulars? Okay, so we know that if it was an irregular verb, we would have to use this stem and then with these endings. So for example, if I wanted to say, I will leave, right? Salir means to leave. I would say, yo, well, let's write it down here. I will leave. To leave is salir. And then we have to use this stem, saldre, then our yo form, saldre. Yo, saldre. Okay? So with the irregulars, you use that stem and then you apply the endings. Okay? So let's tie it into what we are doing today. Today is the conditional tense. So I'm going to take this out here and just put it to the side for a moment. I'm really happy to tell you the conditional tense is extremely similar to the future tense. It's very quick. It's a very quick learn. Let me get a fresh page here. Okay. So the conditional tense, I'm going to have a second here to just jot it down. Conditional tense. All right. So the conditional tense is like saying in Spanish, would, could, must have, etc. We're going to really focus on the conditional, meaning would, right? Would jump, would talk, would sing, okay? So, much like the future tense, you are also going to leave the verb whole, okay? In other words, don't drop the ending. Okay, you want to leave that verb whole. And also, much like the future tense, it's got only one set of endings. Okay. And those endings are ia, ias, ia, iamos, eis, and eon. This is an I with an accent. Okay, there's accents on all of the I's. Now, make that a little bit more clear. Okay. Now, these endings look just like your imperfect ER-IR. Remember your ABBAs and your EAs for imperfect tense? But remember, there's a major difference. With the conditional tense, you leave that verb totally whole. So if you wanted to say, I would eat, let me put that in the picture. I would eat, you would say, yo comería. Okay? You add these endings, but see how that verb is totally whole. I'm going to stress that one more time. With conditional tense, you want to leave that verb totally whole. Just like with future, you don't want to drop the ending. Okay? Now, I'm happy to tell you, conditional tense has the same irregulars as future. So I'm going to write them out one more time because I'm going to use this page here as a reference page for you. So, irregulars and their stems. Okay, so the irregulars once again, decir, hacer, poder, saber, caber, haber, querer, I'm transiting the whole thing here. Just Querr. I was gonna conjugate the verb for somebody. Salir. And then we've got tener. And folks, again, these are just your irregular stems. Poner, venir, and valer. Okay? So, for example, if I wanted to say, I would have. I would have. Yo tendría. Okay? That's all there is to it for conditional tense, folks. It's short and sweet and to the point. So let's do a quick recap. Conditional tense It translates to like would, could, must have. We're really going to focus on like just it translating to would for right now. Leave the verb whole. Don't drop off the ending. Your endings for AR, ER, and IR, right, for all three types of verbs, since we're leaving the verb whole. Ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. Here are your irregulars and the stems, okay? So with this information, we're going to have a brief activity for this week's module. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Folks, we are really coming down to the end of the year here. Keep up that pace, keep up the good work, and hopefully I will be able to see your faces in the fall. I miss you guys. Thanks so much. Adios.